Hey guys, it's Damien.
And I'm Kenady, and thank you so much for joining us. Now, the basis of this video, watch this before you get married, is because we want to make sure that you are really analyzing this, being wise about your decision on who you marry. And so we want to give 6 things that you want to kind of look through. 6, I said 6, right? 6 things that you want to kind of look at before you make that big commitment to marry the person. Because we want to reduce the divorce rate before we leave this earth. And we know that that is important so that we marry the right person and using wisdom and obeying God. So make sure you take notes. If you're single, if you're in a relationship, take notes.
Take good notes.
Take good notes. And so let's go ahead and get right to it.
So number 1 is the belief system. Belief system. You want to make sure that you're marrying somebody with the same belief system. Now, if you are a Christian, that means you need to marry somebody with the Christian belief system, that they really are Christians, and you want to check their actions to make sure that they are actually living what they believe.
There's a lot of Christians that
don't
live like they Christian. I ain't judging, I'm just saying.
We see it all the time, and we had a video talking about being equally yoked, and this is out of Corinthians 6:14, right? 2 Corinthians 6:14, where we see that God wants us to be equally yoked. And what does that mean? He wants us to marry people with the same belief system, because when we marry people outside the same belief system, God calls it idolatry, because we're holding our relationship above our relationship with Him. And so we want you guys to marry somebody who has the same belief system. Are they going to church? Are they actually planted in the church? Or are they going to multiple churches? And that is something that you do not want to deal with.
That's so good. So number 2 is looking at their goals. What are their goals in life? What is their purpose in life? What has God created them to do that they are wanting to fulfill here on this earth? Because we have to make sure that we are okay with those goals, that we are okay with partnering with them and having that be a part of our life as well. And so sometimes that means, doing it hand in hand. Sometimes that means serving in the background, but making sure that you're okay with that, because sometimes goals can change the trajectory of the family. Are you okay if they're wanting to go in missions and be a missionary overseas? Is that something that you're wanting to partner with that? So we want to make sure that we're on the same page and walking in unity, and that starts by understanding each other's goals in life.
And one of the things that we suggest is ask these questions before marriage. Ask the question, do you want to be a missionary? Do you want to be a scientist? Do you want to be a politician? Ask these questions before marriage so you don't get into marriage and be surprised.
Yeah.
So number 3 is transparency. You want to make sure that the person that you're trying to marry is transparent, that they're open about their feelings, they're open about what's going on in their life. You don't want somebody who continue to hide and have secrets all. Where you going? They're having so many secrets in their life, you don't even know that person. You want a person who is vulnerable about their failures in life. You don't want somebody who's always having a blame game and a victim. You want somebody who's open. One of the things that attracted me to Kenady was when she called me one day and pulled me to the side over the phone and told me about her past. So she was saying, this is me, this is my past, and there's nothing that I want to hide.
Because things will come out. Secrets will be brought to light, and you don't want those secrets to come out in marriage and it be a big one.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
So make sure that person is transparent. Number 4. Now this one is a big one. This is a big one. We have to look at their habits.
Wow.
Is there any unhealthy habits that you see that you are not okay with? Because again, marriage does not fix these things. It will continue. We think that, when I get married, I'll no longer have pornography problem, or hey, when I get married, I won't be drinking as much or going to the bars as much. No, we have to make sure, we have to see where that person is at that moment, because they might never change and it might get worse. So what are your deal breakers? Are they a busybody and they can't sit still and they're always on the go and
always on their phone?
Always on their phone. Are they drinkers, heavily drinkers? Do they have an anger problem? Are they lashing out and blowing up all the time? These things you want to look at and not just brush it over on the side. We have to make sure that we are okay with marrying the person and all their baggage and habits, because it's not going to change necessarily in marriage.
I was recently reading a book, Kenady, and it talked about a tragic story. The author was telling telling a story about a man, actually a husband who shot his wife. And the author said maybe this anger issue was brushed over before marriage. What Kenady said, you have to look at these things. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to wrath, and wrath leads to murder. You want to look at these things before marriage.
Because that's what happened with Cain.
Yeah.
He got mad and ended up killing Abel. Check it out, Genesis.
Genesis. Go read it.
First couple chapters.
Which leads us to number 5. Control. You do not want to marry somebody who is controlling. That is just a big red flag. And this is sometimes manipulation is a part of this control. There's 2 things I want you to look at, and this might be you. You have to look yourself in the mirror before you get married. So number 1 is, are there the avoider? This is a person who plays hard to get all the time. Oh, I don't need your help, and that tries to attract you that way. The second one is more of the insecure person who has the attachment issue. They're always attached to you. They always want to be with you. They always want to be on the phone with you. This is a problem because it shows a lack of trust. You want to look at the avoider and the attachment person.
That's good. And the last one, and this is a big one too. I think they're all big ones.
They big ones.
I've said that
the
whole time. But this last one is, you have to check and see what God said. What did God say about this person? Sometimes we go and bypass what God is laying in our spirit. God saying, I know their heart, and trust me, this is not the person that you want to get married to. And I've had that happen to me in relationships where God's like, this is not someone you need to be with. You need to break up. And I ended up having my heart broken because I did not heed the voice of God. But I'm thankful that I did not end up in a marriage with that person, because who would have known what I've been going through? And so make sure that we're listening to God, obeying Him. And also our friends.
Yeah.
We encourage people, do not date alone. Include those godly friends that you have in your life that can see and say, what do you think about him? What do you think about her? And they can see things that we cannot, because sometimes we're blinded by love and blinded by, we just want to be married, that I'll marry them. I'll take everything that they have to offer. And so we want to make sure that we are heeding that voice and listening to them. I love what it says in Proverbs 12:15. Fools think their own way is right, but the wise listen to others. And so I was a fool, and I went and did my own thing with other people, and God was saying no. My friends were like, no. I had to sneak behind their back, and I was being a fool. But be wise, listen to others, but godly wisdom, those that are in tune with the Spirit. So,
and one thing, Kenady, take your time. Take your time. Just like Boaz and Ruth, it was a year before they entered into a relationship. You have time. Don't be rushed by the culture or society. Take your time.
Because things will come out in time.
Yeah.
So we encourage you to check out our other video that we did, God Told Me You Were My Spouse, or Did He? This is some things that will also help for those who are looking to get married or in a relationship and they're wondering, is this person the one or not? Should I marry them?
Again, my name is Damien Nash.
And I'm Kenady Nash.
And we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Don't date alone.
Don't date alone.
Don't be creeping.